Well, listen, this is Michael Sweet on the line today with Jack Antonio. Interview number 6. I think we first chatted way back in 2013. So there you go. Fun times.
Yeah, we got to make that 7. The 7's a much better number.
Yeah, that's right, I guess. Well, listen now. I don't want to take up too much time talking about this, but Merry Christmas, I guess, should be the first order of the day here.
Thank you, man. Merry Christmas to you too, buddy.
Do things slow down for you at all at Christmas, or are you pretty much always keeping busy? Like I see you got an acoustic show tomorrow night.
I do. Sometimes things slow down for me at Christmas, and I'm actually able to take the time off and relax and just catch my breath. But this year, it's not the case. I'm doing this solo show, which isn't really a lot of work involved. I've been rehearsing all week and figuring that out. But prior to that, we started on a new Stryper album. So that's been
right, yeah.
There's been a lot of time involved and thought involved and a lot of work, and that's been a little draining. It's just, it gets to be, in a good way, very exhausting and just working hard, man, trying to get it done. We got a turn-in date of January 15th. So
wow.
When I'm done with the show, I got to get right back to it.
I've heard you say now in other interviews that this new Stryper record's going to be a bit of a darker turn. Maybe is it now? Do you mean lyrically or musically or both?
I think maybe darker isn't the right word. Maybe it is. I don't know. People have to hear it for themselves. But it's definitely got a little bit more of a meaner taste to it. A little bit more spice. If No More Hell to Pay was the mild hot sauce and Fallen was the medium, this is the hot. And that's a silly way of putting it, but I guess it's a good way to put it. This just has, we brought a little bit more fire to the table on this one, and the bass playing kind of took us in a different direction in a really cool way. It's got everything has, instead of straight ahead, it's got much more of a groove to it, and it just, man, it's rocking. It is just grooving and rocking, and we couldn't be more pleased with how this album turned out.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was going to be one of my questions of course, earlier in the year, you guys parted ways with longtime bass player Tim Gaines, and now you've got, Perry Richardson.
Well, Perry was someone that wasn't on our radar.
Yeah.
When we were thinking about new bass players, and then his name got brought up, and we thought, oh my gosh, of course, he's perfect.
Uh-huh.
And then when we met him, that sealed the deal. I mean, the minute we met him, pretty much the minute he walked into the room, or got into the car, I should say, I picked Oz and Rob up first at the airport, and then I picked Perry up. And once we got in the car and we were talking on the way home, we just all realized together what an asset this guy is, and what a great human being he is. And then we heard him play and sing, and it was just like, wow, this is outstanding.
Yeah.
And look, Tim, we really do wish him well. Believe it or not, some people might hear that and roll their eyes, but we really do. We want nothing but the best for Tim. He's still our brother.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and we have a long history with the guy. But people need to take into account, for whatever they know or don't know, they need to take into account that history speaks for itself. Tim's been in and out of the band for whatever reasons over the 34 history of the band, I believe 3 times, and I think this is his 4th. And I could be off by one on that, but it's at least 3 times. And it just kind of, it says a lot, and to find peace and happiness, and that's the most important thing on earth, is for people to be happy, and we want him to be happy, and hopefully he is, and he's going to go do great things, and we're going to continue to try to do great things as well with Perry.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I was just going to say now, like, if you look on Wikipedia, not that they're necessarily the most reliable source for all things Stryper, but it does show that he has been in and out of the band a few times, so there you go.
Tim has been in and out of the band multiple times, and that you could take that for whatever it's worth, and whatever. I'm not really saying that to stir the pot or create a stir. I'm just making a valid point, you know. And I left the band too. I left the band in 1992 as well, because I felt like I needed to get my life in order and kind of get my priorities straight. So and then we started talking about reforming again in 2003, and here we are. So we're happy. We're very happy that we found Perry. Let me just cut to the chase and leave it at that. Perry is a perfect fit for Stryper.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic person. He's a joyful dude who makes us smile, and he's happy to be here as much as we're happy to have him. And he's a killer player and a killer singer. And I don't think I think when people see us live with Perry, they're going to be blown away.
For sure. Well, now the big news is, of course, the new Sweet Lynch album, Unified, just dropped November 10th via Frontiers Records. I think the plan was always to make a follow-up with George, right?
That was the plan, and the plan in the back of my mind has always been to continue on and keep doing albums. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I know George is busy. I'm busy.
Uh-huh.
We haven't toured yet for either album. It looks like it may be difficult to make that happen. I don't know. But, it's an interesting gig, man. It's you've got an atheist and you've got a Christian who formed a band.
That's right.
And, two polar opposites in terms of everything, in terms of, religion, in terms of politics, for the most part. I'm sure there are some things George and I agree upon, but for the most part, there are many things we don't agree upon. But in some weird, odd way, it really worked musically, and we were a great combination. We are a combination, and I'd love to see a tour. I'd love to see more, but I just don't know if that's reality. I hope it happens. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, now I know, like, the first time you guys worked together, he sent in only like partial ideas, but I think one of the big differences this time was he was sending you more completed ideas, right? Because you're basically sending things coast to coast because he's in LA and you're over, in the Boston area. So I think that really worked, though. Like the more complete ideas.
The first time around, he sent me like minute and a half ideas. And then I'd have to kind of figure out where to go from there. So I had a lot more work involved in terms of arrangements and whatnot. And then we were still in need of 3 songs to complete the contract.
Mm-hmm.
And I wound up writing 3 other songs: The Wish, Strength in Numbers, and, I'm trying to think of the other song, Recover. So definitely more involvement musically from me. On this album, George sent me more complete ideas and all the songs, and I really wanted it to be that way because I wanted to get that part from George, and I wanted it to be a mutual 50-50 collaboration, and it was on this one more so.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking, too, like, these tracks are pretty diverse. Like, Walk, for instance, it almost has, like, a Queen kind of vibe, especially with the layered vocals in the chorus. How did you come up with that?
Well, George sent me the idea, and it was much longer. It was another 2.5 minutes longer.
Uh-huh.
It was like an 8+ minute song.
Wow.
Which was a little much, There were sections that just kind of went on and didn't make as much sense to me, in my opinion, as a producer and a writer. So I made some edits and tried to make it a little bit more of a radio friendly, as funny as that sounds, a little more commercial, And then I had the hard task of trying to come up with melodies.
Mm-hmm.
For if you just take the vocal out and listen to the music, and then you think, what do I do with this in terms of a vocal melody? It's pretty tricky.
Yeah.
So I did my best.
Yeah, well, it seemed to work for you, and another thing that I'm noticing about not just Walk, but several tracks is you're also like into your higher register and at times even your falsetto, which is it's kind of cool to hear you soaring up above the clouds there.
Yeah, I was trying to do some different things and come at it instead of always belting and wow, when I go high on walk, for example, I'm doing a falsetto and in the breakdown bridge. I tried to do some different things on the album. There's a song, Better Man, where I'm singing up, I'm singing a little lower, which is unexpected for me, and just try to do things that people might not expect or wouldn't be so predictable.
Yeah. Is this something now, like how much influence, like, I mean, it sounds like, at least with the music aspect of it, that you can get in there and edit and tweak a little bit, but I mean, how much does George involve himself in your vocals, like, is this a two-way street in terms of how the whole process works, Michael?
No, he doesn't involve himself at all in the vocals, and just as I wouldn't involve myself in his guitars. I mean, if we were in the same room, we might.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, George did all his tracks out in LA and I did all my tracks out here. So, and the way I do vocals, the way I like to do vocals, the way I think I'll always do vocals is I do them here at my house. I have a studio and a really nice vocal chain, and I save a lot of pressure, a lot of time, and I save a lot of money doing it here. And once the vocals are done, I go back to the studio and then we mix everything.
Well, that sounds good, and I mean, obviously the process is working, and it sounds very natural, and it almost has that in the studio vibe. I mean, even though it's obviously not, just because of your proximity to each other. Yeah,
I've been able to find myself and figure out how to do this after 34 years, and do it without cutting corners and compromising, yet also do it saving a lot of money. Our budgets for all of the albums I do, solo, Stryper, Sweet Lynch, the actual recording costs are in the maybe 30 to 35,000 range. And then we're all able to take whatever's left from that and put it in an account, or put a little bit in our personal accounts, because we have to make a living and we have to make money and whatnot. So I've been able to figure out how to do that, how to make these really cool sounding albums
for sure
for a minimal cost. A lot of people, when I tell them that, they're like, "What? We just spent $75,000, or we just spent $100,000 on studio cost." And I'm just thinking, wow, you poor souls.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, man, the only thing left that I see here is you've got this new solo DVD coming out exclusively on your website. It's called Soul: Songs and Stories from a Life in Music.
Yes.
That sounds like a cool thing. Do you want to tell us about that before I have to let you go here?
It's very bare bones, stripped down, me and an acoustic guitar and a couple loops. Doing an acoustic set, but it's also interwoven with a lot of new interview footage. I tell the story behind each song.
Awesome.
And the stories aren't what you would expect, and it's kind of funny and interesting. Yeah. And then there's some rare Stryper footage in there, sprinkled in throughout, and it's just a really great DVD, dude. I'm very happy how it turned out. I'm very proud of it, and this guy Andrew Joyce is a godsend, and he's going to be doing the Stryper documentary as well.
Awesome. Well, right on, man. Listen, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Obviously, looking forward to number 7, 8, 9, 10, however many more times they let me do this thing. But your PR team has been very, very good to me over the years, and as you have as well. It's always a pleasure, and thanks for chatting with me again today.
That's very kind of you, my friend, and I look forward to next time. Okay, and you have a great day and Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year, and I look forward to 2018, buddy, okay?
Right on. Have a good one.